So, you're a creator on Grandee, right? And you've probably found yourself asking this one question. I've got the followers, so where are all the brand deals? Well, the answer, and the real key to unlocking those awesome partnerships, is actually hiding in your analytics. So let's dive in and find the story your data is just waiting to tell. You've hit a huge follower milestone, you're excited, but the brand deals just aren't rolling in. It's super frustrating. And if you're asking this question, trust me, you are not alone. But here's the thing, the game has totally changed. A big follower count is nice to have for sure, but it's just not the golden ticket anymore.
So, first things first, we need to start thinking beyond just that follower number. To really succeed today, you have to understand the new rules of creator partnerships.
I mean, think about it. Not that long ago, this was the first and pretty much the only question a brand would ask. The whole strategy was just a numbers game, right? It was all about how many eyeballs you could get on a post. More followers simply meant more reach.
But that whole conversation has completely flipped on its head. It's no longer about how many, it's about who. And this, right here, is the fundamental shift. Brands have figured out that reaching 1 million people who don't care is, well, it's useless. But reaching 10,000 people who are the absolute perfect fit, now that is marketing gold.
Because your true value isn't about how big your audience is. It's about who your audience is. That specific, unique community that you've built. That is now your single most valuable asset.
Exactly. I mean, this says it all. Brands aren't just buying your amazing content. They're buying a direct line to their ideal customers. If you can prove that your audience is their audience, you instantly become an incredibly valuable partner.
Okay, so how do you actually prove it? Well, you do it by mastering your metrics. I want you to think of your analytics dashboard as your own personal creator toolkit. It is filled with all the evidence you'll ever need to prove your value.
We're going to break this toolkit down into 3 main categories that you really need to get a handle on. First, engagement, which is all about how your audience interacts. Second, demographics, which tells you exactly who they are. And third, performance, which shows you what they absolutely love. Let's start with engagement. Okay, look, a post with a ton of likes looks great on the surface, sure. But a post with a really healthy mix of likes, comments, and shares, that proves something way more important. It proves that your audience is active. They're not just mindlessly scrolling, they're actually participating. That is the kind of responsive community that brands are dying to connect with.
Next up, demographics. This is where you get to answer that critical who question. You know, are they mostly 18 to 24, or are they more in that 35 to 44 range? Are they mainly in places like New York and London? What are they into? Sustainable fashion? The latest gaming tech? Knowing these details lets you connect the dots for brands who are desperately trying to reach that exact person.
And finally, we have performance. Just looking at your past posts can tell such a powerful story about where you shine. Like, check out this table. It shows that while your tech reviews get really good reach, your Q&A sessions get an absolutely incredible engagement rate. This kind of data helps you pinpoint your strengths and pitch campaigns you know are going to kill it. Okay, now we get to the really good part, actually using all this knowledge. Let's talk about how to craft a pitch that's so packed with data, it's basically impossible for a brand to ignore you.
I mean, just look at the difference here. The pitch on the left is fine, but it's generic, it's forgettable. The one on the right, though, that's not a pitch, that's a solution. It uses specific demographics, that 25 to 34 age range, and hard performance data, a 12% engagement rate on tech content, to prove an undeniable fit. That is the pitch that gets a yes.
But remember, this isn't just about landing one deal and calling it a day. This is about building a sustainable career as a creator, and that comes from making this a continuous cycle of improvement. We call this the growth loop. It's pretty simple. You track your metrics, which tells you what's working. Then you use that data to optimize your content, so you're creating more of what your audience loves. This, in turn, grows your engaged audience, which then attracts bigger and better brand deals. See? It's this powerful flywheel for success. It really is that straightforward. Track, optimize, grow. And then you do it all over again. This is how you build real momentum and start turning your passion into a profession.
So, as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with this question. Your analytics, they're so much more than just numbers on a screen. They are the collective voice of your audience. They're telling you who they are, what they want, and how to connect with them on a deeper level. So what story is your data waiting to tell? Go find out.